How's it going, gamers? This guy's a gamer too. Cool. I think today we should focus on making more farms, and I don't just mean the cool create mod type of automatic farm. I just mean like basic vanilla farms for manually harvestable resources, right? And to start, let's do some kelp. I talked about this last episode. Kelp is used for making belts and create. I'm gonna dig a nice hole. So I upgraded our pickaxe to bronze, but never talked about what it does. We can see it has these modifiers on it: cultivated and maintained. Cultivated is from the wooden binding and tool handle. Maintained is the new one from the bronze pickaxe head. And what that does is make it mine faster the higher the durability. So if I keep it topped off, it should serve us well. If I let it go down, it's going to get worse and worse as it goes. Alright, I think a 4x4x8 hole is good enough for now. I'm going to go get another water source so I can fill it in. I mean, the funny thing is, people often use kelp to like fill in big areas of water sources, and that's what we're going to be growing here, so I probably didn't need to do that. Too late now. You see, it's already grown. So, periodically I'll just have to go down there and pick up the kelp. Hello, snake. We will eventually get access to storage solutions that are designed for holding a large quantity of a single item, but for now I think regular chests are just about the best we can do, and, you know, they're fine, they work. The next basic farm I'm going to set up is going to be sheep. So last time I talked a little bit about windmills, and I would love to get some windmills going. They both provide power and automatically spin because they're on a windmill bearing. And that's perfect for rotational farms. I like to use them for like tree farms and crop farms. Before we can even think about that, we need some sheep. So I'm going to clear out a little bit of an area over here and fence it in, just kind of a normal vanilla way. And to get in and out of this area without the animals being able to do so, we're going to use the vanilla way, which is to say carpet. I made the fence gates just for that joke. So let's bring our sheep friends over. Come to your new home. Yep, red carpet right for you. And by red carpet, I mean white carpet, as in you will become white carpet. So I've been noticing some frame drops. I'm sure you have as well. And don't know the source, but I figure I'll try turning off shaders. I was playing around with capture settings and trying to see, can I capture in like 1440p 60 FPS, but my computer really didn't like that, so we're sticking with 1080p 30. Now before we can do much else, there is a situation we must rectify, and that is food. We're very low on food. I mean, just look at our reserves, you know, we have nothing. Nothing I can eat. So bread we can create by cooking dough in a furnace or smoker or campfire, or the create mod has this thing called an encased fan, and this lets you process items in a few different ways. There's bulk washing, there's bulk smoking, there's bulk blasting, and there's bulk haunting. So in creating bread, we care about washing and smoking, because our wheat we can grind into wheat flour, and then that wheat flour we can wash into dough, and then the dough we can cook into bread. So if we can get 1 or 2 encased fans set up to make that work, we will have as much bread as we could ever want. With the encased fan, we can make using a bunch of stuff we already have set up. We'll just need to crush a few more iron. And that completes us a quest back in the andesite world. Leads to that we can just get for XP. Who really cares, right? We're also running very low on coal, so we'll want to automate trees, like probably next thing after this. I'm trying to think where to put the encased fans because I want them to be accessible like our other machines here, but I don't want them to be in the way. And they can easily be in the way because of the fire one can hurt and set us on fire. We really don't want to stand in that. So these encased fans, I think I want to be kind of diagonal, and we're going to bring power over from that. This direction doesn't matter, so we can just put the gearbox on it just to divert power over. Let's do a couple of cog wheels and hope they're spinning the right direction to blow. Yes. Now the speed of these doesn't really matter because the speed only affects the distance they blow, and we don't care about the distance they blow right now. I'm stuck. For the water one, I'm going to have that dug down area, and for the fire one, I believe we just put a campfire in front. Yep, looks like that's working. And then you probably have to go down there. And I think both of those should work. We probably don't even need that block because the water knows where the lower ground is. I'm stuck again. And just to show off the fire, I'm going to not waste my armor. Yep. The water one puts you out, which is cool. So remember that we can grind our wheat into wheat flour. That wheat flour we can wash with the washer here. And it's going to take just a moment. But then we get this dough. The dough we can put in front of the fire one, and it should cook into bread. Yep, just like that. And I don't want to use all of our wheat just making bread right now because I also want to keep our new sheep friends in mind. Make sure they're fed and happy. Now that our food situation is becoming sorted, I think the next step should be the tree farm because there is a lot we can accomplish by automating rubber trees. And to do that, I'm going to look into these windmill bearings. So these are pretty cheap individually, but they take these windmill sails. And these take the wool we're farming right now, but also some andesite alloy I might have to farm up some more of. And what it doesn't tell you, at least as far as I know, is that we are also going to need the super glue stuff. So before I actually start working on that, let's make sure we're down over at the thing that requires super glue. So let's make a funnel. Funnels are pretty cool. They are useful for belt logistics, which is going to be a lot of what we do. Make a funnel, we just put an andesite alloy above rubber. The funnels, they can interact with belts, but they can also interact with like chests and other inventories. So we can set it to output and it will draw items out and then just plop one on the ground. We can also set them to input and they will pick up items on the ground and put them into the inventory they're attached to. For completing that quest, we got more funnels and some depots. Now the belt here, we're going to need more rubber. Am I crazy or are these sheep growing like stupid quick? Like, I just fed them. You say a growing time of a very long time. Why? I'm a little freaked out, man. Alright, so with that rubber and the dried kelp we got from a previous quest, we can create belts. And there's a lot you can do with a belt. First things first, you connect them between two shafts and they will rotate, with the direction of the shaft. They will transfer the rotational energy from a powered end to a non-powered end. And they can move stuff on top of them, like players and entities and items. And they work really well with stuff like funnels, because if we say have a funnel coming out of a depot here, Putting an item on the depot will have it deposit through the funnel onto the belt. And this is really slow just because the belt is running really slow, but this is how a lot of our automation is going to work, is this kind of concept. We can also run it the opposite way, where items go into a belt funnel and into an inventory like that. Completing that quest gives us more belts. Nice little head start. We can check out this quest just for free. Check out this quest for free. And now we get to super glue. And also these portable storage interfaces, which use these chutes we never made. So let's go make some chutes. Chutes are basically the crate version of hoppers. They do a lot of what hoppers do, but not quite everything. I probably should have used a chute here, but I didn't feel like it. Being made from just 3 iron, they're cheaper to make from hoppers as well, not to mention they give 4 at a time. Chutes are kind of like a vertical version of the funnels I just showed. So I'm going to set up some chests like this. We can use chutes to both pull items out of an inventory and drop them into an inventory, and they do multiple at a time. See, this stack of 42 happened really fast versus the funnel, which was doing them one at a time. You can also have some fun with chutes and make them go all diagonal like that. And in our case right now, we just care about the chutes for making these portable storage interfaces. I can't show off what these are for quite yet. We're going to need this super glue first. So super glue takes some iron and also one of several types of slime. And there's a few ways to get slime. We could craft it with dough, like the same kind we're using to make our bread right now, and lime dye, which we could individually farm in various ways. But there's these other types of slime balls from Hephaestus or Tinker's Construct, and I want to use one of those. Let's go on a field trip. So when we were exploring the world looking for a place to settle down last time, we came across a few points of interest. One of which we have marked with a beacon over here. It's the Slime Island. It is funny passing through a swamp to get here, because in vanilla, I would happily use the swamp in order to farm up some slime. In modded though, there's better options. I should have kept an eye on the time of day, or at least brought a bed, because it's gonna be nighttime, and that might be an issue. I hope it won't. You can start to see the island load in now once I get past the trees. It's, it's a floating island, so that's why I brought plenty of blocks. And on this floating island, there tend to spawn slimes that will, jump down and attack you, so I'm going to try to be careful. Let's start on this little hill part for a head start. I should have no trouble getting down because there's so much water directly under it. Alright. It's very green up here. There's various types of slimy stuff. There's this coagulated slime block. Sorry, congealed slime block. There's these green heart trees. There's these earth slime clusters, kind of like vanilla amethyst. These trees will be able to farm just like any other tree, and you can turn them into slime just by melting them in some kind of melting apparatus. So in the long term, that's probably what we'll do to get a lot of slime, but in the short term, I don't mind just like raiding this island. There's also these crystal clusters, which we can break for earth slime crystals, and those in turn we can turn into slime balls. I'm not sure if there's an easy way to move the budding crystals, but I think I know some tricks for not so easy ways. I'm not sure that'll be necessary though, because the trees are just so much easier. Alright, so my mattock broke, and I don't want to punch all of the rest of these by hand, so I think we're done here. We got a good amount of slime. I don't expect anything is going to need quite that much in the near future. Let's go back home. I'm realizing that we don't have a waypoint for home base, but the shimmer one is basically that because it's right under our base. There is absolutely something unnatural going on. There's no way everybody should be fully grown already. Now that we're slimed up, we can create the super glue. And that gives us this quest, which has no rewards. Oh well. Don't tell me they're already fully grown. How is this possible? I need to, like, keep an eye on these guys. Somebody is injecting, like, growth hormone. You're not even off breed cooldown. This is insane. So let's make the windmill bearing here. It's just a couple of normal blocks. And we can make the windmill sails. I'm making 48 sails here. I'll probably want more in the future, but we don't have that much andesite alloy or wool. And we also don't have sticks automated yet. So really, everything is a limiting factor right now. We're actually not done with preparation though, because for a tree farm, we also need to cut down the trees, which we can do with a mechanical saw. That's not too bad to make, but I will need more pressed iron. To replant the saplings, we'll also need the deployer, which takes a few kind of interesting pieces here. That rose quartz stuff we make using nether quartz. We can grind that into a millstone and it should produce some quartz for us. Might take a little bit because I don't think it's a guaranteed chance. While the quartz is milling, let's make some saws. Let's go one more. I'm going to make a 4-block radius. Deployers will also be useful for automatically shearing sheep. That is a pretty big use case for them. I think our farm is completely full now. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, I think it's already the time for these trees to go. I think I want to put the new tree farm in their place. A lot of these guys are pretty tall, so I'm going to try to do the smart thing and use a mattock. Also, use a ladder. That 34 diorite we put into the millstone only produced 3 quartz, which is weird because it's supposed to be a 25% chance. I don't know if we just got unlucky or if that 25% chance is not reflective of the real value. But either way, I am mining for diorite here. Wonder if granite feels left out, you know? Andesite is so useful. Diorite I'm mining specifically. Granite must just be like, when are you gonna use me? I'm useful too, right? I'm personifying rocks, man. Okay, see, this has already produced 3 quartz from 5. I think I just got, like, the worst luck ever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do just like a super ugly little setup here. I'm just going to drop diorite in with the funnel there and have that fill up the millstone. It's going to leave 1 just kind of floating there, and it'll drop in when it is needed. Now that we have the quartz we need, we can actually start on the deployer. So the quartz we can turn into this rose quartz by combining it with some redstone dust. This rose quartz we will need to process with sandpaper to make with sand and paper. And this is kind of cute. You just hold 1 item in each hand and just hold right click. And it smooths them out into these polished rose quartz pieces. The other part we'll need here is the rubber hand, which we can just make with rubber and a hand. And by hand I mean andesite alloy. And then we can turn those with an andesite casing into a deployer. Unless I'm forgetting something, I think that's everything we need to make our tree farm. So to start off, I'm going to dig a hole. I've prepared a tunnel beforehand because I want to be able to harness the energy created by the windmill bearing. We're going to need to be able to access the bottom of it because it has a shaft output here. Our windmill is going to be kind of the first more permanent structure of our base, so I'm going to use a nice little block to try to make it look nicer. This is just andesite put into the stone cutter to make a fancy version. I need to get down from here. Can I do the gamer clutch? I can do the gamer clutch. Did that just automatically... So our windmill here, we're going to start by placing these windmill sails. We're going to make sure they're all kind of facing the same direction. Get in line. And then we'll need to create the functional parts as kind of arms coming off the central structure here. So the first of these is going to be the mechanical saw on the bottom layer. Obviously that's going to cut down the bottom part of the tree, the trunk. Next we'll need these deployers, which we can just put down like that. Actually, I'm kind of doubting that's at the right height. Maybe we want to put them down a little bit more. Now we'll want to filter these two rubber saplings just to make sure they don't place logs. And then the last parts we'll need to attach to this are going to be a storage inventory of some kind and a portable storage interface. And that's how we're going to take our items out of our tree farm. We're going to need a kind of receptacle here. We can draw items out using a chute and then attach it with a portable storage interface. These can attach, I think, up to 2 blocks away like this. So it should stop when it has items and connect and just transfer them through. Before we can test it out, let's glue everything together. So the super glue stuff lets us create a kind of interconnected structure. And it's all going to count as one big moving structure once we start it up. Isn't that cool? I did miss the top block there. If we go down and take a look at the windmill bearing down here, I might actually want to... Here, let's disassemble it. I'm going to actually redo this anyway, because I want to bring it down here. We can see we're able to change the rotation direction just using the wrench like that. I built it going the correct way to start off, so I'm going to put it back. And this time our goggles can see the stress unit capacity without the stressometer. It's producing even more than all of our water wheels. And it's powering a farm. So it's very, very powerful. I'm going to stop it one more time. When you stop it, it anchors everything down and becomes like actual blocks again. So I'm going to put in saplings to kind of seed it and also take out that storage interface so it doesn't steal all the saplings. Oh, these aren't going to work. Oh, it is going to work. It's just going to be... Okay. I had the deployers at the right height the first time. I could either fix this by stopping it and raising the deployers or lowering the floor. Let's stop it and fix the deployers. I suppose this also gives me an excuse to raise the portable storage interface and therefore raise where we're connecting this to, which means our receptacle barrel won't be in the ground anymore. So I guess it's not all bad. Let's start her up again. And this time it is actually exchanging items because it just deposited all of the extra rubber saplings. That's unfortunate. I guess I can fill it in. I don't want to have to do that. We can just put it in the moving barrel. I don't think you could do that before. So that's cool. We can start to see the shape it's drawing here. It's kind of a circle. It's got 5 long edges with 1 corner between. I'm going to try to make this look a little bit nicer and add a border around it. In very short-term retrospect, I kind of regret using andesite for this block already because andesite is something we need as a resource. A little too late for that. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but it's what it needs to be. It's going to cut these trees down and transfer their resources into this barrel. It looks like they already cut one down. That's very nice. From this barrel, we can draw the items out and process them in different ways, and there's a lot of ways we'll want to process rubber logs. Let's go over them very briefly here. So we can mill them to turn them into sap. That's why we're doing rubber specifically. It's just because we can turn them into sap. We can blast them into charcoal, which is very important solid fuel. We can saw them into stripped rubber logs, which can then be sawed into rubber planks. And you'll notice this gives 6 rubber planks. Isn't that nice? That's kind of what the mechanical saw is for. It gives you more bang for your buck and is automatic. Once we get andesite alloy being automatically made, we'll also be able to turn them into andesite casings automatically. But for now, those first 3 or 4 ways to process the logs are what we're going to focus on. I'm using up literally the last of our smelted iron here to make the machines we're going to need. So I'm going to use what we set up last time and process this into ingots. But first, let me show you that we can actually process a block of the raw material. And it's going to take longer to smelt. And one of each of these is going to fill up an entire tank. But it should be a little bit more efficient. just slow. Oh, isn't it beautiful? This is our first real automation, our first real processing setup. I'm kind of nervous, but also excited. This is kind of what the pack is all about. So I'm going to set up a belt coming out of this barrel here. Except I'm just realizing we need to filter the output here, because as of now it's giving us sticks and rubber logs, and once it fills up with saplings it's going to give us those too. We only care about the logs for processing setup here. So we have to think about item logistics and how we want to filter our logs out. I forgot to turn the lever on, don't worry about it. So in the not too distant future, we're going to be using a lot of these crude storage units. We can't quite make them yet, but we can make their precursor, which is the storage buffer. This takes just paper and these wood sheets. Honestly, we will probably want to automate them because these things are that important. It's not like I have any emeralds, but I might as well check your trades. I've seen worse. You can live. Alright, so these storage buffers have kind of a weird looking UI. If you have used something like thermal expansion before, this should look like pretty normal. The unfortunate thing with the buffers is they only hold a stack plus one item, and they only transfer that one at a time. So it's not going to be the best setup here. And in fact, it's going to have such poor throughput that we might want to just selectively figure out which of the processing options we want to do at a time. I don't like the thought of that, but I can't really think of a better solution. We'll have a belt coming out like that. First, let's think about which one do we want to do first. Let's do planks first. I think planks are pretty good. And honestly, maybe we could have planks as like the last thing on the line or something. Dude, you don't take very good care of your pets, I'm seeing. You at least dropped the lead somewhere. Yes, thank you. There's something kind of fun you can do with belts and mechanical saws. So I'm going to just make sure I'm getting this right. If we put a mechanical saw upwards like that, and then like that, and let's grab rubber log. Now, here's something kind of annoying. We can't directly strip the rubber log, and I know from experience that if we put the rubber logs into the saw, it's going to just randomly give out any of these cannon cast molds. We're going to get some junk cannon parts to start off. I'm not a fan of it. At least we can filter this one. Once we get a single stripped log, we don't have to worry about it. Alright, this might be a waste of resources right now, but I really want to show it off, both because I think it would simplify what I'm building, and because this is one of my favorite blocks in Create. The encased chain drive is a very useful way to move power around. I'm going to use it here to turn first our vertical into horizontal. It kind of twists around and we'll drive that. See it spinning already. And I'm actually going to gear this up. Or is this gearing it down? Actually don't know. I just want this to be faster. It's going in reverse. Okay, let's gear it differently. Alright, using a gearbox here instead seems to have worked. So now we play the gambling game. We'll play the gambling game once we start the saw. Oh, right, that goes in reverse. So let's actually gear this. Okay, it gave us the right one first try. So we can filter that now, and I'm going to move the gears over. Move this a little bit over as well, just so the gears don't interfere. And so what we should have in the end here is something that turns rubber logs into stripped rubber logs, and then stripped rubber logs into rubber planks. And then they get deposited in the barrel here. So that's all running off the energy of this windmill here. It's an entirely self-contained system. And further, we might want to process these planks into wood sheets, which we can do with a mechanical press or by sawing it again. Those wooden sheets, as mentioned, are useful for those storage units. We'll need a lot of those in the future. I'm not going to worry about them quite yet. We don't even have like sugarcane being farmed for the paper, for the buffers. Maybe that is our next project. For now, let's attach that. It is actually loading them onto the belt faster than this is able to process them, so we might be fine to divert some of these into other processing methods. We might want a more bulk setup in the future, but for now I think we can just do with one of each machine. Let's have it funnel out into a millstone, and that's going to turn into rubber. And let's have one funnel out into a depot that will be blasted with an encased fan, not like that. Alright, so everything's in place here. The fan is now connected and going to be blasting that into charcoal. The millstone I haven't set up yet, so let's do that now. I think we could do something fun here with a single large cogwheel, just like that. So you can actually mesh large cogwheels like this, and then this large cogwheel is going diagonally to that. So it's maybe a little weird. It's maybe not the best way to do it, but I don't know. I see something like that and I just think that is a cute way to do it, and I'm all about cute solutions. So one issue we might run into is that once we process into sap and charcoal here, we need to extract just that finished product. And to do that, honestly, I think we're going to want some more storage buffers, so I'm just going to manually process some of these planks into wooden sheets now. We're not doing anything with rubber saplings or sticks quite yet. That's going to be a problem for future us. So let's... one there, and I guess I'm going to need more barrels. Barrels are in place. We want to extract back, auto in, lock, out, to the right, auto out, in, back, auto in, lock, out, left, auto out. It's kind of what you have to do every time you set these up for item logistics. And that's going to be making charcoal and sap and planks all automatically. As well as obviously being a resource. Rubber planks are just a nice building block, so we can use that just for building. We finally have an automated building block we can use because it looks nice. We will probably want to directly process the sap into rubber using another mixer setup, so I'll probably work on that in just a moment. First, I just want to avoid clogging up our tree farm, so I'm going to put some temporary storage for sticks and saplings. That should be a decent amount of storage. It should last us for a little bit. Sap is still useful on its own because it turns our seared bricks into seared bricks. So we want a supply of it, but we also want most of it to turn into rubber. That's kind of why having such a slow throughput is really dangerous for this kind of automation setup. I think it is worth it to just process everything right now. If I want regular sap, it's going to be in smaller quantities, and I could probably just run around to other rubber trees. That might be a dangerous thing to say. Unfortunately, I can't think of a cute way to bring power over to that mixer, so we'll just have to do it from over here. Oh, that's so ugly. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, does it look any better if we have it coming up from the floor like that? It's a little bit more bearable. What I probably should do instead is have this charcoal output front instead. And then I can have this going upwards and just use a 1-to-1 cogwheel like that. Now we could get decorative here if we want to. We could actually encase some of these components in andesite casings. And that looks a bit better. I think that's fine. The issue with this setup is it's not going fast enough. We needed the greater speed. Can I fix that down here? Tell me this is fast enough. Not fast enough. Okay, I'm not part of the logistics here, but I got it to spin fast enough. I don't want to talk about it. So we can use another buffer to extract from that, extract to the right, and put it in a barrel. And that's gonna automatically fill with rubber. That's gonna be our charcoal. Our planks are over here. And you know what? Our planks are going fast enough, and I'm going to regret this if I don't do it later. We're just going to automatically create the wooden sheets here. Alright, this setup took me kind of an embarrassingly long time to come up with just now. But it reroutes our item flow to kind of go the other way and pass through the saw in the opposite direction. And I think what we can just do is replace this barrel with a double chest, and then just have a funnel, putting that like that. That should turn them through this mechanical saw into these sheets. It's, you know, it's not the prettiest thing. I think our machines are going to look better when we start to do things more in bulk. We can kind of help by just encasing everything. I didn't do it. Alright, now, I don't know about you, but my head's starting to hurt, which I think means that's enough machinery for now. Let's go get distracted by something else. So, there's something I want to try. So last time I showed that right near our mine ladder, there's at least one diamond. There's a singular diamond. Okay. We can mine it now. Bronze is better than iron, so we're able to finally mine the diamond. And I have a suspicion that mining that diamond has unlocked something for us. I don't know for sure. Let's go up and check. Alright, my suspicion was wrong. I thought getting the diamond would show us abilities in the Encyclopedia of Tinkering and show us how to make the lucky modifier for our pickaxe. I might be able to just guess from memory, like, what was it? Just a bunch of lapis lazuli. Maybe we need a tool forge for it. I bet we need a tool forge for it. So the tool forge, actually, we can make, like, now. There's a certain set of blocks you can use to make this, and that includes bronze, which we have the ability to make. So I don't know, I guess I'm gonna process a bunch of our copper, and then use it with some of our tin, and just make a bunch of bronze. And in case I didn't explain it already, the tool forge is just a better tool station, so it lets us make more powerful tools, and you know, I haven't been entirely correct in my suspicions so far, but I would hope it unlocks more stuff in the book for us and shows us how to make our pickaxe have fortune. Alright, this is gonna feel really bad because we're so close to proper alloying, but I'm just gonna make bronze the expensive way. So to make our tool station, we're going to take our existing tinker station. We're going to take some of our seared brick blocks, and we just put them in this formation. And we have a tinker's anvil. And, okay, I actually forgot it just shows you how to do it here. So there's a few steps to getting the luck. To start off, we're just going to need a few blocks of lapis lazuli. And blue dye, which we could make like that. Is there a more efficient way to do it? Yeah, let's go crush a piece of lapis lazuli here. Slightly more efficient. Wow, that just was a lot of tasks. Okay, so if we put our pickaxe in here, give it blue dye and 4 blocks, gives us luck 1. If we give it 4 more blocks and a diamond, gives us luckier, luck 2, and luck 3 requires a block of diamond. We haven't... Actually, that's not true. We have found diamonds. Okay, we have found more diamonds. I don't think we found more lapis lazuli yet, or else I would have mined it. So the bottleneck in getting to Fortune 3 is going to be lapis lazuli, and not the actual diamonds, is my suspicion. I wasn't really planning on, like, going mining right now. I mean, I do need to go mining because I am running really low on iron and plenty of other resources. Man, I would love to get Fortune 3, like, now. Like, right now. Like, as soon as possible. So here's this vein of diamonds. There's 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 for 3. There's this vein of diamonds. Unfortunately near some creepy creeps. Alright. 4 for 4? Are you kidding me? This is luck. This is fortune. I didn't accidentally put killager on this, right? And that's the fortune 2 difference, man. Ooh, spider jockey. I guess I'll just look around a bit and try to find more diamonds. It seems not too difficult to just find some exposed diamond. Oh, it's not too difficult to find exposed diamond. Yeah, as if it's not one of the most, like, sought after resources in Minecraft. Is that what I think it is? I think that's what I think it is. Okay, we found some lapis lazuli. I'm kind of just rushing through here, so I'll go back and mine it later. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I got lost. I need to, like, pull myself up and not die for a second. And optimally, I'll not die for more than a second. If the screen is brightened while I'm in the cave here, it is a different thing than I was doing last episode. Last episode, I forgot to turn off the brightness filter for a while after dying, and so it was just, like, really bright and washed out up in the surface. And I had to try to fix it in post, but I'm not very good at, like, color correction, so it didn't look great. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with any, like, mistakes I can't fix easily in post. I would rather just do it all in post at that point. So if the effect looks different, it's because it is. Anyway, this is from Terraria. It's an underground house. It has an extractor generator from Terraria. It has garbage loot from Terraria. It has bullets from Terraria. It has chains from Payday. It is a jukebox. I don't know what that's from. Okay, like, I'm almost out of torches. I'm wasting a lot of food just recovering from being hit by enemies. I don't know, I found I found those earlier diamonds just so without thought that I figured I could find more just by looking around a little bit, but it seems not to be the case. I think I'll have to do some actual mining later and look for more blue shiny rocks. For now, let's see what we get from this lapis lazuli. Yeah, okay, I don't think that's gonna be the bottleneck. Oh, there's even more on the side of the wall there. I'm not gonna bother with it right now. I have bigger problems to worry about. Oh, there's another house over there. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll have to remember this there. I'm just trying to get home, man. Oh, okay. Right when you give up looking for something is when it shows up. I mean, it's not like this is gonna be all we need, right? We're 4 for 4, even with Fortune 2. Okay. It was just 1 ore, but it made up for the other ones being so stingy. We are so close now to Fortune 3. It makes me want to keep looking around for, like, just one more diamond ore, I should say. I have 1 torch left. I can't justify this. I think getting to Fortune 3 is the next big step I want to do, but before we do that, there are a few things I want to do to prepare. The first is get more bread, which we already had cooking. The second is going to be getting torches, which we have everything being made for them automatically now from the tree farm. But another thing I'd like to do is get a backpack to expand our inventory space. You can see this takes a few different items you haven't seen before, but they're mostly pretty easy to craft. So I'm just going to get on that and see where we get. One thing I just want to point out here is the rope here we get from straw. And straw we can get from using a knife. So let's get a knife. There's a few ways we can use the knife. One way is to use it with a cutting board. And a cutting board lets us chop things up that we've already collected. But I believe if we use this on grass, there's a chance of, yeah, there we go. There's a chance of giving us straw. And so I'm going to do a little bit more lawn mowing over here and just try to collect some straw. There is a particular item we can make with straw or a straw derivative that I would really like to get a good quantity of. Sorry, pig. Okay, you're just asking for it. And the best ways to farm straw in the future, once we get more farm set up, is going to be from either bamboo or rice. So we'll pick one of those and be able to farm it pretty easily and just grind it up directly into straw. Alright, I haven't done the math, but I'm hoping 22 straw is going to be enough. 23 for good measure. Now this project table is, I believe, a mod made for the Create Astral pack. It's supposed to be like a better crafting station. Unfortunately, I really don't like it. I think it's really kind of a pain to use and just feels clunky and just isn't worth using. We will have to make one. It's going to give us a quest completed, but that lets us make the backpack. So the backpack, we can right click to open it, kind of like a bag. We can also put it into our special slot here for the backpack. Okay, you will not believe how much time I just wasted trying to fiddle with my controls and figure out why I couldn't open the backpack once it was on my back. So if you look at controls, there is this one labeled open backpack, and I had tried to bind it to all sorts of things and it wasn't working. I tried unbinding the other things. It was really annoying because if you type a key to bind one of these while having this selected, it also types in there and you can't like unselect what you have in there. This modded controls UI is really not good. Anyway, there's this one called Backpack Inventory that I completely missed. I had just skipped over it and only looked at open backpack, and I already had it bound to the backtick, and that works. I can just press that to open it. I don't know if I had messed with the keybinds on a previous world and then just forgotten, and that's why they're bad. It's me. But either way, I have figured it out now, and I can open the backpack just like that. So is that all figured out? There is nothing more that I want right now than to finally get Fortune 3 on our pickaxe. So let's go mining. It feels bad just ignoring the other ores along the way, but I feel so close to the best fortune, I just don't want to waste resources. I'll get them later. I'll come back through my already lit caves. I'll just have to remember where stuff is. Probably a bad habit I have. Oh, wow. Okay, that's gonna help us mine. You here for blue shiny rocks? Give me blue shiny rocks or bust. I don't see any blue shiny rocks. Oh, right. I'm playing single player. It's not like I really care about losing per player loot. Oh, hello. Please give me what I need. Please. Okay, give 2. That's what we need. Let's go back to the surface and finally get that Fortune 3. If I can find my way out of here. No way, I'm already lost. Here we are. Oh, it gave me a potato. How generous. Hey, buddy. Okay. I've been waiting so long. So long. Let's get real. Alright. We have a lot of quests to claim, so let's go do that. For the encased chain drives, we got more encased chain drives. For a windmill, we get windmill sails. And I guess that was it. The dog. Now that we finally have the luckiest enchantment, I feel like I can actually, like, do mining and collect the ores I see. We are pretty low on a lot of resources like iron, so I think it is worth the time right now to just go into the cave and do some regular old mining. This is just a random thought while I'm mining here. You might have noticed an extra chapter in the quest book called the Automation Matrix. This is basically just ideas on what to automate and how to connect things to automate them. You can see into the future a little bit, some of the stuff we'll be collecting. Some of these we will probably want to do pretty soon, like andesite over here is pretty important, so we can automate andesite alloy. We don't want to be crafting that by hand forever, not only because it's kind of tedious, but also because it's less efficient. A lot of the ways we have to automate our resources is going to be just more efficient. It's going to give us more resources per resources we put in. This here is Viridium. I think we actually saw Ostrom in another leg of the cave. I'm not really sure what they're called, but there are these rock types that are related to different metals. Viridium, I believe, is copper, Ostrom is gold, and you can produce those as kind of an intermediary product and then turn them into the corresponding metal, and that's one way to automate the metals. If you're exceptionally desperate for a particular metal, you could also just mine the Viridium or Ostrom or whatever from a cave and process that directly. We could do that at some point. They do spawn in very large quantities. You can see the Viridium here. It's not just like one little vein. It's just huge seams of the stuff. I hope you enjoyed that little sequence there. I'm not always able to record with my microphone on, so I think I might try to have kind of compromise sequences like that, where I just kind of put music over a montage of me doing some stuff. That ended up a rather productive mining trip. We got a good amount of resources, a few diamonds. Not really sure what we need diamonds for at this point. I think we're safe to just drop everything into our smelting setup here. While that's going, I'm just setting up a little bit of a sugarcane farm. I don't have a great plan for this, I'm just kind of making it because I really want to be able to use storage buffers, and we're going to need to farm paper for that. So when I started recording this series, when I set out to make it, I didn't really know how long the videos would be. The first episode ended up a little bit over an hour. That felt kind of long to me, but I didn't really mind it because it was the first episode. That feels fine that the first episode is kind of long. I'm not sure that I want them all to be quite that long. That said, as of recording this part, I've already edited like the rest of the video, and it's about like 50 to 55 minutes long. And even though it's getting up there in time, there is still a bit more I want to do. So I think we're going to try to get like one more decently sized thing done before I call it here. Where did I put my sugarcane? It's not in plants. Where is it? It is. I'm just blind. I think what I would like to try to get done before the end of this episode is start on fluid handling and try to make an alloying setup. Maybe too big a topic, so we'll see how it goes. If we check the quest log here, the entire like half of this quest book is fluid stuff. I'm gonna focus on like maybe this part. There's just a couple basic fluid blocks we're gonna look into and hopefully make something out of it. There's just one particular setup that I've used before that I think I could remember how to make easily enough. That's going to be incredibly useful for us. I'm going to need some rubber, so let's actually check up on how our tree farm's doing. Over here we have the wood sheets. It's almost full with a barrel of those. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't really expect to need like a ton of these. Like, okay, each stack here is 8 storage buffers, so we have 11 stacks. That's almost a stack and a half of storage buffers. That's quite a lot. I don't think we'll need quite that many anytime soon. The planks are full. The charcoal is filling up pretty decently. We might want to expand how much charcoal it's making at a time. Same with rubber here. If we only have like less than 3 stacks of rubber, we're going to want more than that. Like, I'm going to take 2 right now just for making pipes and stuff. I'm also going to get some more copper sheets going because we're going to need a lot of copper. So to move fluids around, we're going to need these fluid pipes. They're not too hard to make, but making them in large quantities, as we will need to do, can get kind of expensive. In order to pump fluids around, we need to combine them with a cogwheel, and that gives us a mechanical pump. These we can power with gears to the side, and they will pump in whatever direction the arrow shows, and we can really easily just flip the direction. We don't have to worry about changing the direction of power to make it pump the way we want. Cleaning that quest gives us some copper. That's nice. Now, I made a bunch of fluid tanks a while ago, but I ended up using them, so we're going to need to make some more. Fortunately, I have some barrels here already, and we get even more fluid tanks. Now, this one here is going to be a little trickier to build. You can ignore the second recipe because we don't have brass sheets or electron tubes, but this first recipe here, we need a fluid pipe. We got that. We need a fluid valve. That's not too bad. Or it wouldn't be too bad if I had, like, any leftover iron sheets. I guess I have to interrupt the copper for a moment. So we can put 1 iron sheet with 1 fluid pipe to make a fluid valve. I think you can guess what that does by the name valve. I've never used it, so I don't know. Next up, we need a bronze sheet. We have a couple extra. After that, we need a list filter, which we can create with just 2 iron nuggets and a piece of wool. And just like that. After that, we just need some vanilla redstone components. We should have... and not enough stone. Let's make some more stone. I feel like I'm running out of fuel, but we have a barrel of a bunch of charcoal over there. Theoretically, we could also use the encased fans to melt this, and it would probably be faster, but sometimes I just like the old school way. I don't know. Burning fossil fuels, it's like nothing else. It's so funny getting all these quests completed from just picking up random resources. That's the automation matrix, man. Now that we have it unlocked, we're just getting a ton of random stuff done. Make a couple comparators. And a couple of observers. And let's make that smart fluid pipe. And a crafting table. And for what I have in mind here, we're also going to need a few more of these seared components. And there's a piece of technology we have available that I had kind of forgotten about, and that is drawers. I thought those crude storage units were what we needed in order to store large quantities of items, but you can actually make these drawers much cheaper, and they do a very similar thing. The only downside of the drawers compared to the crude storage units is that they don't have the input-output UI, so you can't really use them for logistics. They're just there for storage. Keep figuring out like new types of stuff we have to crush here. The lock for the drawers takes gold sheets, which we don't have any left. So I'm trying to figure out where to put this setup. I really don't want this to just be like a sprawling layout of machines. So I want it to be in a place that makes sense. And being that the setup isn't going to be part of some larger automation or factory network, I think it kind of makes sense to just be near our other semi-manual machines here. So what I think I might do is actually kind of cover up our water wheels here and have it be on like a raised platform. I hope I don't like regret this idea later. I don't know how it's going to work out. I mentioned previously that I'm not historically good at like planning out the size and spacing and position of anything I build. So there's a chance this is going to need to be much larger and I'm going to regret putting it where I'm going to put it, but I I have to pick somewhere now just to start off. Oh, and this has been bugging me. I never removed that and replaced it with a chop, so there. If it's been bugging you too, you're welcome. Oh, I didn't mean to fall in. Don't really like this being 4 blocks wide. I'm gonna expand it. Let's just make it a square. We can always make it prettier later, but hopefully this is enough for now. Oh, this actually did run out of fuel. Let's put some charcoal in. So in case I didn't explain it well enough, or at all, we are making an alloying setup. The basic idea is that we are going to have 2 of these seared melters. That's going to let us like melt down 2 materials and turn them into fluids. We're going to pump those fluids into a basin that I haven't made, and then mix them together with a mixer I haven't made. I've rectified those issues. And then we can basically just pump out the resulting fluid into a tank. And that tank I like to have just as kind of a buffer for storage, but from that we'll also be able to cast and such. That's something I like to challenge myself to do, is come up with like a really efficient and compact way to have an alloy mixing setup. We're going to be using this quite a bit, I expect, so I'm going to put some charcoal into this drawer, and then that buffer is going to automatically load it into the heaters to the sides. We can lock the drawer with this lock item, and that means nothing else will be able to go into that drawer, so even after it runs out, we won't be able to like put random stuff in. And it's being filtered down to these heaters. Putting this on a raised area with no buffer space to build underground is kind of a bad idea, because the key to building nice and compact looking machines often is to hide the not so compact parts underground, and we can't really do that. I think it's fine if it goes like 1 block out to the side. I don't know, I don't need this to be exactly 3 wide. I'm thinking we could like belt the power up, but we are out of belts and dried kelp, so gotta cook some up. That's not how you cook it. What am I thinking? Watching kelp dry. Let's make a bunch of belts. I'm just a little worried about their rubber supply, so I don't want to convert it all into belts, but we'll need a lot of belts. Let's put that like that, and then like that. And don't have stairs on this side. I really need to think about like walk flow, because our base is a mess, man. I shouldn't say our base, because it's all my fault. Like, I have nobody else to blame. It may seem like a strange investment, but this setup is going to require a lot of buckets eventually. And the reason for that is this smart fluid pipe is a filter, and you set the filter by right-clicking a bucket with a certain fluid on it, and then it'll only like whitelist that fluid. And that's really important, because let's say we have tin and we have copper. They pump into this. We don't want this to pump out the molten tin or the molten copper. We only want it to pump out the bronze. And speaking of bronze, we are about to unlock the more efficient way of making bronze, but I really want this to be just faster, so I'm gonna make some last bronze ingots the old-fashioned way. What I really should do is just speed up our whole setup here. I haven't done the simple, easy trick to speed up our large water wheels. I don't feel like doing it now. I'm going to regret that later, but I don't feel like doing it now. It might be faster than it needs to be. I'm going to check how much it's taking. It does greatly increase how much we're using. Do I only want to do 1? I think I'm fretting too much before we even have the thing built, and I just shouldn't care as much as I am. For our initial setup here, we want to make sure that's pumping away so that we don't draw anything out while the filter's not set. We want to make exactly 1 bucket's worth of molten bronze, and while this says 1 ingot of tin plus 1 ingot of copper equals 1 ingot of molten bronze, I think this is a lie and it gives 2. I think we will simply have to deal with some annoying stuff, and there's no way around it. Such is the way of working with fluids. Alright, I put some chests with chutes up here so we can drop items in, and the chute will transfer them into the melter. The melter should melt them down, and then the pumps will transfer them into the basin. Tin melts really fast. Oh, come on, the mixer isn't fast enough. So I want to do a kind of compact thing here where we have a large cogwheel going to small, and then small connects up to large. That connects to another small on top of this. Normally that wouldn't be possible because it would just snap. However, if we encase that large cogwheel, it actually blocks off this side, and then we can use it just like that. And we can see the mixer will start to mix together the tin and copper. And it is indeed taking 1 ingot's worth at a time and producing 2 ingots worth in the end. And it's going to stop at 8 out of 9 ingots because there's no space to make the 9th. I'm going to have to just kind of play with this and figure out how to get this to do what we want. I think if I divert the other 2 away, they get pulled out first. Then we can divert the bronze into the other one. It's going over here. And then we divert the other 2 back. Should mix up the last little bit. And then we can divert the last of the bronze back and bring it all into the big tank here. And then to get it out, we can actually cast it into a bucket, just like that. And our hoppers put it into the chest. And now we can put that into the filter. It doesn't show for some reason. And now that it's filtered, we can just super easily drop in an equal quantity of copper and tin, and it will make us bronze. And I really wish I had more tin to show this off, but tin doesn't spawn below a certain Y level. So I'm probably going to have to do some surface level mining to get more tin. We only have 3 raw tin left. And that's making us a decent amount of bronze. Now there's a lot more I would like to do with bronze, and a lot more I would like to do with our whole setup here, but now I think this is a good stopping point. And the reason we needed all those buckets is because every single ally, we're going to have to repeat this process, and when we want to switch out the filter, we just have to take a bucket and right-click it on that. Oh, I didn't mean to clear that. Let's put that back. So to wrap up today, there's a couple things I want to follow up on. The first is that there's a use of the knife I forgot to... It's not that I forgot to mention it, I just forgot it. There's a really easy way to get more straw, and that is using the knife to harvest wheat. It doesn't even use up any durability. Remember, these 2 were just from the pig earlier. And with every wheat, we just get 1 straw. And that's going to be a good way to amass straw for, I kind of alluded to it earlier, it's this basket. It's basically a hopper that can pick things up from the side and also be waterlogged without any water spilling outwards. It is very useful, very multifunctional. Basket does require bamboo though, which we haven't found. I think it would be nice to do some exploring and look for not only a jungle for bamboo, but also just anything cool we can find. We have done any kind of exploring since we did that initial trek around the world looking for somewhere to settle down. But, you know, there's all kinds of structures and biomes that would be nice to find. Another thing I want to follow up on here is the sheep growing. I noticed while editing, so this is visible in one of the previous clips, that when a baby sheep eats grass, it actually decreases the growing time by a minute. Let's see if we can watch it happen here. Yeah, see that? It's gonna do it again. Yeah. Every time this little baby sheep eats, it is going to take 1 less minute to grow up. Another thing, in that kind of montage section, the spear we were using just ran out of durability. And I don't feel like making my own weapon, so I think we can just use the firebrand weapon that one of the quests gave us. During that, we also got a potato and, I guess, multiple carrots. I didn't even notice the second one. But we also got one of these makeshift pistols, which is to say, if you look at the ID down there, it's just a bow with different like recipe and texture and name and stuff. It's not like this would be too hard for us to craft on our own, so I'm not too excited about it. And it's technically kind of a rare drop, but who cares? And maybe we can finish up by just looking at some quests in the quest book, because there's a bunch of stuff I haven't claimed and also a bunch of stuff I bet we can just kind of check off or do really easily. So there's this big important info, we can check that, and we get an orca. Yeah, this pack has a few items like that that are either completely inert or you can right-click to just play a sound effect. I ended up just checking off this quest, which unlocked the copper chest quest that we technically completed a while ago, but it didn't register because we hadn't checked off the precursor, so we can claim that for another copper chest. There's this section down here for these decorative benches. This is something we'll probably look into. These aren't too hard to make, they're just a lot of different items, and they basically just allow you to turn common blocks into nicely textured variations of those blocks. It's really nice for building because you don't have to spend resources on getting a large quantity of a hard to make block. You can just get something easy like, I don't know, dirt, and you could probably turn dirt into something nice. Like really like polished dirt, engraved dirt, weathered dirt. Like I could see myself using these and they're dirt. There's a quest here for the different drawers, and we made the single one, but there's also the quad and double, and if we get those, it gives us a drawer lock. Oh, I guess I didn't need to craft it. It's fine. It even stacks for some reason. This quest here, we can just check off for a free spyglass. Down in the andesite world, there's a quest for the makeshift pistol that just gives us some more bullets, which is to say arrows. There's also this quest that takes andesite dust, which we can get from just putting cobblestone in the crafting table for some reason. And if you've seen me go craft something and notice this little arrow symbol, that just shows up when there are multiple valid outcomes for a given recipe. So you could turn cobblestone into skipping stones, or you could turn it into andesite dust. That completes this quest, which gives us a honey cake. Can we eat that? I don't know. Do eggs count? Are eggs meat? The eternal question. I'm going to say no for now. Up here we also have a quest for just getting a bunch of logs that just gives us a bunch of saplings, and oh, would you look at that, it gives us bamboo. I guess we don't need to find a jungle. It also gives us a chorus flower. I thought you could only grow these on endstone, am I wrong? I don't know if we can get endstone yet. The bamboo I'll just plant over here as well, just another temporary manual farm. And I guess I might as well do the cactus too. You remember that underground house we found, and the shimmer, and the extractinator? Those are all Terraria references. Well, guess what? There's more. Sorry, this is not a Terraria reference. These take andesite alloy, which I'm not really a fan of spending on something frivolous, but I don't know. It's kind of like a scaffolding from vanilla, I guess. I'm never going to use these. You can't even, like, go down on them? Isn't that kind of the whole point? Only when they're stacked up together? That's not how they work in Terraria. Did the chest with ye. Down in chapter 2 here, for making that molten bronze bucket, we get a bunch of cogwheels. That's a pretty nice bonus. And down in the automation matrix, I think we saw this earlier, but there's a loot reward here, just a random chance loot. We got a bar of chocolate. I don't care. Technically, like, this whole chapter is something we could probably complete easily, like, check this out. Progress. 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 Check this out. Ow. But also progress. And I think that's a pretty good place to stop today. We made a lot of progress, got a lot of stuff set up, a lot of stuff done. And I think next time I'd like to focus on getting more stuff done that's going to help us out going forward and just make our lives easier. For example, there's different types of tinker's tools we can make with our new tinker's anvil. There's these toolboxes we can make that will allow us to access items from afar. Maybe there's more farms we can make like the tree farm, or more setups like the alloy smelter. Or maybe we even look a little more complicated and go for the stone growth chamber. This isn't too bad to make. We haven't made these copper casings yet, but it is the next step in getting industrial here. That's all stuff we can worry about next time though, so for now, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough. It really had to start raining while I'm trying to do an outro. Alright, I found a nice spot away from the rain. See you around.